I'm making lunch today and I'm gonna show you how to make 2 deli-style sandwiches at home. And I really think that the difference between a good sandwich and a great sandwich is just down to a couple of little things. So as I make lunch, I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way to kind of just elevate those everyday sandwiches that we all make at home and turn them into something that is so delicious. I hope this video gives you some good ideas, and let's go ahead and get started on lunch. Oh, and yes, I cut my hair. I know you guys are probably like, are we not gonna talk about this? Yes, I cut my hair. I've wanted to do this for a while and I'm loving it. It's been really fun, but that is not what this video is about. This video is about sandwiches, so let's make some sandwiches. Now these sandwiches are highly adaptable, so use whatever you like. I went to the bakery section of my grocery store to get these rolls. And tip number 1 for making a good sandwich is to use good bread, because you can put the same fillings inside of not good bread and it's gonna be a totally different sandwich, even though everything else is the same. But you don't have to have a fancy bakery near you or go to any specialty place. Just get one that is a bit soft and squishy in the center and then crisp but not hard on the outside. That's one thing that took me a while to figure out what I was doing wrong when I was trying to make really good homemade sandwiches. I was going for these, artisan breads that look really good and have a crispy crust. But those are really the ones you want to have when you're making soup and you want something kind of sturdy to dunk. But with a sandwich, if the crust is too hard and too crunchy, you bite into it and all the filling just goes everywhere. So I'm gonna start just by cutting my bread open. And this first sub is gonna be inspired by a pub sub. So I grew up in Florida and Publix grocery stores is a big grocery store chain there. And they have these pub subs, we call them. It's like a deli style sub that they make, and they're actually really, really good quality. Like, it kind of has a cult following. So the first one is gonna be inspired by a pub sub. No one likes a dry sandwich, so it's a good idea to seal that bottom layer of bread with a creamy spread. I'm using vegan mayo, but you could do hummus, tahini sauce, or a vegan tzatziki sauce, like a yogurt-based one. Anything like that would be great. Then I'm gonna add my fillings, which is vegan cheese and turkey. These are the ones that I'm gonna use. This one is the peppered version, and then this one is the oven roasted. I like to fold the turkey to give the sandwich a little bit more body, and then if I was gonna be packing this sandwich, I would de-seed the tomato so that the sandwich doesn't get soggy, but since I was eating it now, I didn't. My third tip is to slice your veggies really thin, especially stuff like bell pepper, red onion, and tomato slices. You can layer them on so that you have a larger quantity of them, but when they're thin, it helps you to achieve the perfect bite where you get all of the ingredients all in one bite instead of a big chunk of bell pepper or tomato or lettuce. So we're going to really finely chop our lettuce. We're going to thinly slice the bell peppers, the tomatoes, the red onions, and that's going to create a really cohesive sandwich where every bite is a perfect bite and not just like the middle part, you know what I mean? There's something about the combo of cheese, tomato, red onion, and green pepper. Think about a supreme pizza. It's just a winning combo. One of the most important parts of making a great sandwich is to think about contrast. So far we've got rich and creamy with the vegan cheese and the mayo. We've also got really nice and hearty and savory with the vegan turkey. And then we have some fresh veggies to contrast some of that and really add a little bit of crunch and texture and freshness. Now we're gonna add another layer of flavor with something pickled. And this is really gonna add some acidity and some brightness to cut through the richness of those creamier, cheesier, richer elements, and also help to kind of season and elevate those fresh vegetables. So one of my favorite ways to do this is by adding banana peppers. I love the combo of a savory dill pickle with the sweet and tangy banana peppers, but if you also like some heat, you could try some jalapeno peppers or pepperoncini peppers. So ordinarily for subs, I would use iceberg lettuce because I love that crunch, that refreshing crunch when you really slice it thin. It's just so delicious on a sandwich, especially one like this. But my grocery store didn't have very good options. There were like 2 left and they were very not that fresh. So I actually went for this crispy leaf lettuce, which is also good. It's crispy. Any fresh, crunchy, crispy lettuce that you have available to you will work. Just go ahead and shred it as finely as possible. Make sure that it's dry as well, because wet lettuce will make your sandwich soggy, obviously, but it also will basically just neutralize whatever dressing you put on it and nothing will stick to it. So you're not gonna get that great flavor. And speaking of dressing, we are going to add a little bit of a vinaigrette to the salad and mix that together before we add it to the sandwich. And this is going to create so much flavor. This is gonna make that sandwich that is nice and juicy and just makes you want to take another bite.
So I dressed the greens with my champagne vinaigrette, which is in the description box below, and I finished the sandwich with a little bit of mustard on that top piece of bread. I don't know if you noticed this, but I layered the ingredients in color order, which is an idea that I got from looking at a picture of a pub sub. It's completely unnecessary, but since we eat with our eyes first, it is a nice touch and it's an easy way to elevate your sandwich.
All right, so this next sandwich is something that I'm calling a California sub because it has some kind of typical California ingredients. Some of you guys love charcuterie boards, I'm sure, and if you do, this is gonna be a sandwich that you like because it has some of those elements, but in sandwich form, which is just so good. So first up, we've got some avocado. I'm gonna do this on the first layer and I'm just gonna mash this into the bread. It does look pretty when you slice avocado on a sandwich, especially if you're gonna take pictures, but I think when you're actually eating it, those slices have a tendency to kind of fall off the sides and it's just not the perfect bite. And I'm all about getting a little bit of everything in every single bite, and so mashing it is really key. Maybe it's not as aesthetic as the lovely fanned out avocado, but it's functional and it's delicious.
For this sandwich, I use some Chao slices, but I also love the Violife mature cheddar. Then I added the vegan turkey and thinly sliced red onions.
So usually when I make this sandwich, I use arugula. I think fresh peppery arugula is one, delicious, and also it just kind of goes with the California theme. Like it's just such a like farmer's market green that you see a lot. And so I really recommend using arugula. But today I'm just gonna use what I have. I already have this lettuce. It's fresh, it's delicious. So that is what I'm gonna use. And I encourage you to use the lettuce that you like the best. Okay, so this is gonna seem a little bit strange, but if you think of it in terms of a charcuterie board, it'll make sense. We are gonna be putting some apricot jam on the other slice of bread, and this is really gonna go well with the vegan cheese and the vegan turkey. If you think about a cheese board where you have dried fruits, sometimes even dried apricots, that sweet and tangy fruity really pairs well with like creamy, rich cheeses and even savory deli meats like this vegan turkey. It's gonna seem strange to some of you, but just trust me, that little pop of sweetness and acidity is just so good on this sandwich, ties everything together. And if you don't have or like apricot jam, fig jam also works really well and it's so good.
When you're cutting a big sandwich like this, it's a good idea to use a serrated knife and to apply even pressure on the sandwich, pushing it downwards as you seesaw back and forth. That way it stays together when you cut.
Okay, this looks like a science experiment, I know, but this is actually cold brew iced tea. I saw my friend Malin from the YouTube channel Good Eatings make cold brew iced tea, and she basically said that she just puts loose leaf tea in a jar with some water, lets it sit overnight. You can do 8 to 12 hours for black teas, and this looks like, now look, we're not gonna drink it like this, don't worry. But what's cool about this is you just use cold water, like regular room temperature water with your tea, you put it in the fridge, and because you're not using hot water, the tea doesn't get bitter. Because sometimes if your water is too hot when you're brewing tea, you can really like extract it too quickly and it becomes bitter. And so this is a really good way to make sure that you get a nice strong iced tea that is like, this was so easy because it's literally just putting tea with some regular water into the fridge overnight. It takes 20 seconds to do and you have iced tea ready and waiting for you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and strain this over a glass of ice, and I'm gonna sweeten it with a little bit of maple syrup and also a little bit of lemon.
This method makes kind of a lemon iced tea, but if you wanted to make an Arnold Palmer, you could do a splash of lemonade on top. That's so good.
Both of these sandwich recipes are gonna be in the description box below if you wanna make them at home. Comment below and let me know which one you're gonna try first. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and make sure you check out my blog, nikkivegan.com, because I have a lot more recipes over there as well. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye.